Hey man, what it is, what it ain't, it's the voices of the O. You already know we back for another episode of the From the Jump podcast. I'm your host DJ here with my co-host, my bro host, but you know how it go though. The man to my right or to your left, don't know how the cameras is gonna be set up, but Big Tone in the building.
What's up, man? What's good?
Nothing much, man. Another good day of sports. I try to take the time out of my day or weekend when these sports and stuff is going on to appreciate, that you don't really understand how much you really miss sports until like the NBA season's over and you had that long drought of just I don't know soccer or USFL. I've never been the biggest USFL or XFL person, so it's just good to finally have sports and something to talk about every
So
weekend.
you ain't messing with baseball?
I've not. I'm trying. I'm really trying, bro. It's just hard. That's
It's
the
really,
one
in my
thing.
opinion, it's really hard to watch on TV. It's really hard to
Yes,
watch on
bro.
TV. I
Yes,
could
it's
watch in
almost like
person all day, but on TV it's tough.
yeah, for sure. Like I've gone to plenty like baseball, softball games, but like that is like watching soccer to me. And I love playing soccer, but watching a full game is some of the hardest stuff I've ever had to do in my life.
Yeah, I've been this summer I was watching some cornhole. That's how crazy it got. Some
Dudes
cornhole,
out here
bro.
watching the PBA, the professional
Pickleball,
bowling. Yeah,
pickleball, all of it, bro. It's getting crazy.
no, for sure. So, man, obviously, again, we get into another week of some great college football, some NFL, with us being fantasy football guys and trying to
Hmm.
win these leagues. But
Did
as
you win last
always, we're
week?
going to start. I think, yeah, I scored the most points in the league last week.
That's not what I asked you. That's not what I
Yeah.
asked you. I asked you, did
Yeah,
you
I
win?
mean,
You ain't got to
I
throw the
mean,
most
yeah.
points
I
in
would
there.
assume if you scored the most, you probably
Well,
won.
you know,
But I mean, if you
hey, look,
didn't, I
okay.
mean, hey,
I won too,
160
but yeah,
points. Okay, okay, that's what I like to hear. What's your record
yeah.
now?
I think it is it the fourth week.
Yeah.
So I'm
Don't be
two and one,
embarrassed. I'm 2-2.
2 and 2.
I'm
Yeah,
two
I'm
and
two and
two.
two. Then yeah, I'm 2 and
Okay,
2.
okay. The 2-2 boys, and yeah, I know y'all don't care, but there's two people at the top of our league that are 3-1, and two people at the bottom of our league that are 1-3, and then the other 8 people are 2-2, right in the middle.
Yeah,
So
our
very
league
close
we're
race
in
in the
is is
fantasy.
is pretty. The league we're in is pretty good, pretty tough.
Hmm.
And our in
For
our
sure.
league, like today, I don't know if you're reading the group. They're in there negotiating trades and this and that. I'm just like,
Yeah.
man, look,
Hey, it gets like that, dudes really get to haggling once it feels like we've been doing this for a while, but it's only week 4. It's crazy. I feel like
yeah,
if you've
fact.
already invested so much time in it. But before we get to that, let's start off in college football, man. Obviously, one of the, if not the most anticipated game of the year, dating back to before the season even started with Caleb Williams versus Shador Sanders. Colorado versus USC. How would everything match up? And at first, it was originally a battle of Coach Prime versus Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams. No one had so much expectations for Shador, but then after
Right.
a few of his quality performances, it finally became Shador is actually potentially one of the top draft picks in the NFL. So now it's a Shador versus Caleb thing. So, we went into this hype weekend, and the result of the game was 48-41 with Caleb Williams attempting 40 passes and completing 30 for a total of 403 yards, 6 touchdowns,
Mm,
and an interception.
crazy.
Uh, the running back, Marshawn Lloyd, had 13 carries for 84 yards and a touchdown. Uh, Jerry Rice's son, if y'all didn't know, Jerry Rice has a son that currently plays at USC, Brendan Rice, five receptions for 81 yards and 2 touchdowns. Taj Washington also had 8 receptions for 117 yards and 1 touchdown. Mario Williams, isn't he the one that came from OU? Mario Williams? Or am I
Yep.
tripping? Yep. He
Yep.
had 3 receptions, 53 yards, and a touchdown. And then Dorian Singer had 3 receptions for 24 yards and a touchdown. On the other end, we had Shador Sanders, who attempted 45 passes for 30 yards, 371 yards, 4 touchdowns, and an interception. Anthony Hankerson had 74 yards with a touchdown. Shador also rushed for 50 yards and a touchdown. Omarion Miller, 7 receptions, 196 yards, and 1 touchdown, averaging 28 yards a reception. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Horn Jr., 7 receptions for 84 yards, 2 touchdowns, and Michael Harrison had 6 receptions for 44 yards and a touchdown. Now, before we get too deep into it, I was at work for most of the game. And
Mhm.
so getting home, I see that they're in a hole, and I'm like, man, this is gonna be another week of shit on Colorado and how they're not a
Yeah.
real team and it's social media team. And but as it got toward the end, obviously they started catching back up. I don't know if it was USC taking their foot off the gas in order for people to not get injured or what. But it was just good seeing. At least they made it competitive. Because after that showing against Oregon, everybody kind of counted them out as uh, kind of fake, like not fugazi. They
Yeah.
weren't a real college football team. It was just a good story for 2 or 3 games. So,
Yeah, they
what do you
just
got to say on it?
man, when I was watching, I was really impressed with the fact that Colorado had some fight. It showed a lot after the fact when Oregon got on them. You know what I mean? It's not that it's just one of those things that they're not as talented right now, but for Dion to really get his guys to let that game go, because that's brutal. That's brutal. That type of beating, let it go, move on to the next week, and really, you facing the best quarterback in college, one arguably the best offensive coach, in college football, and then you come out and your defense really starts working the second half. You know what I mean? Just blocking them down, defense working. You're not getting beat. He's not just throwing the ball everywhere, and then you start to score. The crazy part about it was when they got to scoring, I was like, thank goodness they're still fighting back. And Shadur starts showing, oh yeah, I'm really like that. If you just give me a little bit to pass, that's all he needed was just a little bit, and then he picked them apart. So if you didn't watch the very end, there was a minute left. If they would have had timeouts, there's a chance they could have got the punt and really got back after it and tied the ball game. But Dion did the best he could with the situation he's presented with and made it respectable, which was huge for them. You know what I mean?
No, of course, I just think after this year, especially, Colorado, if Shador decides to come back, it'll be weird because Dion saying that Shador's not playing second fiddle to Caleb Williams, but if Caleb Williams decides not to go to the draft because he don't want to play for this team, how that'll all work out. So, but if Shador does so happen to come back, I mean, really just shoring up that offensive line with some of the talent they have now and that they'll get next year from transfer students again and from their first full recruiting class. I mean, I think that's all that really needs to be shored up. I think adding Warren Sapp to his coaching staff will help. Obviously, with the defensive front, with Warren Sapp being an NFL legend, but there's just so many things like getting pressures, your offensive line. I think they overestimated or underestimated that Colorado line. Shador against lesser teams, of course, they look dominant, and Shador's just a gifted thrower of the football. Like I think he has great anticipatory throwing. I think he needs to use his feet a little bit more. I'll say that because I think he's averaged like negative rushing yards. But this was it was at to the point where like on the gambling sites where you can bet on
Mm-hmm.
what a player will have and what they won't have, they had him for over or under negative 1.5 yards. Like you have
Wow.
way more athleticism. You could rush to
And he
get
went
at
way
least
over
five
that though
yards a
from
game.
that game. He went
Right,
way over. Yeah.
right. And so
And
I
the
just
thing
think
is
if
with
they
him, they always say that, and
Mhm.
and when people say that, he starts showing glimpses, and it really is like, oh no, he can move. But I
Mhm.
think for some reason he believes, and it may be true. I've never been a quarterback, but
Right.
they want to see me throw in the pocket. That's what I think he's thinking. Tom Brady
For
being his
sure.
trainer, for those type of reasons. But I'm like, you've shown you can throw. Everybody knows you can pass now. So use those legs for the benefit of the team. Because if they're okay,
Absolutely.
they took your best receiver out. Now they're game planning. If they're going to give you 15 yards of scramble, scramble for 15. I think
Man, easy
that's
money.
how I feel about it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, that's how my dad, because I played quarterback growing up and in junior high, my dad was like, if they're going to give you easy money, you take easy money. And then, when they take it away, that's when you do what you got to do. Obviously, if a man's open, you throw him the ball. But I know obviously you would never want to compare yourself to somebody that is your counterpart, obviously in Caleb Williams, but he's not afraid to use his feet or his arm. Obviously there's a stereotype around black or African American or people of color at the quarterback position, and it's like, oh, they're just athletes. They run, they're fast, they do X, Y, and Z. But it's
Right.
like, I mean, that's why Caleb Williams is looked at a certain way. I mean, you see, and we'll get to it later. Patrick Mahomes, he's known for passing the ball, but he got what, third and 12, a 22 with his legs. A couple of
Yeah.
them had flags thrown on them, but it's like you need that escapability because it's harder for the traditional pocket passers to extend plays. Like those are the people that are getting big money. I mean, even
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Jones got a paycheck. It wasn't for throwing the football. So it's
He
like,
shouldn't have got it. He shouldn't have
no,
got that paycheck at all.
not at all.
But in
But
saying that, it's easier. I feel it would be easier to game plan for a pocket passer, a guy that
absolutely.
can't run. Now, it's kind of hard because in our lifetime, the pocket passers,
Hmm.
Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, Troy, I mean,
Hmm.
not Troy, Tom Brady,
Hmm.
Brett Favre. Oh, Brett Favre can move a little bit. But
Yeah,
those
yeah, a little
guys
bit.
won Super Bowls. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? But then when Patrick Mahomes came in, and if they would have gave Michael Vick the team, kept them together, things of that nature, we could see it. But the pocket passers are the ones that seem that's won. But now the things are, times are different. So being
Absolutely.
able to run is harder for a defensive game plan, especially with these defensive coordinators starting to come up with even newer schemes that are
Hmm.
really causing people issues. Like
For
even
sure.
for OU's defense at the moment, you know what I mean? I feel like it's almost impossible for, and I know they haven't played the greatest competition, but for those teams
Hmm.
to score,
Yeah.
and it's because BV and I used to coach one of the players that's on the team. He's told me like Tony, that playbook is insane. Like they got
Hmm.
former players on their staff that used to play for BV that says it took them 3-4 years to really learn the whole playbook.
Right.
And that's just because it's so technical and the schemes are different and all the things. So
For
that's why I
sure.
feel like a scrambling quarterback in over my experience is like when I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, but even say as an OU fan, a supporter, if we
Hmm.
play a scrambling quarterback, I feel like we're in trouble.
For sure.
If we don't, we're good. You know what I mean? For example,
Absolutely.
who's the quarterback? When they played Tennessee with
Hmm.
Dobbins or what's the last name? The ball
Tennessee
guy that just beat
Tannehill.
Dallas.
Oh,
The guy,
I was gonna wait, but Joshua Dobbs. Yep.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He
Yep.
gave up all those issues because he's a scrambling quarterback. Now the coach was trash back then, from a decent
Hmm.
standpoint, but that's just a small example.
No, for sure. You gotta. I mean, and it's like you said, right? Because dang, I'm gonna try to keep it short. Obviously, we haven't got to the NFL, right? But like you
Yeah.
said with Joshua Dobbs, I had him in my fantasy team last week, right? And they played Dallas, gave him fits, and so I'm like, okay, I don't know, maybe Dallas after the Trayvon Diggs thing, it got to their head. So I put San Francisco in this week, and they played Arizona. And I'm like, okay, well, they'll probably do better in Dallas because they got their full team. I got 1 point from San Francisco's defense because it's a mobile quarterback and what he's able to do. Because I lost in my league, the one that I host,
Right.
because I didn't start Dallas's defense. Dallas defense had 26 points. Like the difference
Yeah.
in you're preparing for a pocket quarterback. And who did Dallas play this past week?
Uh, dude, why am I tripping? Oh, Patriots.
Patriots. Again, pocket passer. So it's things like that. When you have the athleticism, use it. It's only going to help you, and it's only going to get you more money. I mean, at the end of the day, if all you can do is sit in the pocket like some of these guys before you, or well-known pocket passers, the AJ McCarrons, Mac Jones, the Sam Bradfords, yeah, they were good, but there's no mobility, none.
Yeah.
Whew. But that is what it is. We'll continue to
Now I
move
was.
on.
I mean, I was. It was exciting to see, and I'm glad Shadur didn't look uh like a third tier guy across the field from Caleb,
Hmm.
and he looked like he earned a lot of respect. I think from people that thought he was just good because of the teams he had played.
Hmm.
Well, now he's played the two of the best teams in the country, and I would say he definitely had a decent game against Oregon with the fact that he's running from the running back or the defensive line the entire time. and then against
Hmm.
USC, he puts up great numbers.
Yeah,
So all that hating and this he's not that good and this and that, I feel like he showed that he is.
for sure. So to continue to move on, this will kind of be a mashup between two games.
Yep,
Uh, just because they were both blowouts to an extent. The Texas and Kansas game. I would like to talk about Quinn Ewers, as obviously we have a big game coming up next week. But
for
Quinn
sure.
Ewers had 35 pass attempts, completed 25, had one touchdown, one interception. The shocking thing is Quinn Ewers had 7 carries for 40 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns
Mm,
to go with it.
yep,
Jonathan Brooks had 21 carries for 218 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's the
that's
score.
crazy.
Yeah, that scoring. The score of that game was 40-14. And then to move on to the other side, if you want to, the OU game. If I can pull it up, there it
Now
is.
the only thing I will say about the Texas Kansas game is Texas
Mm-hmm.
showed they're the best team in the Big 12 in my opinion.
Right,
They beat Bama. That probably put them on the map for that. But OU still undefeated too, right? So this
right,
really bleeding into where we're going to next. But Kansas
yeah,
was looking like they were a lot. You know, they were solid this year. Like we're gonna make
mm-hmm.
a run at the Big 12 championship type of thing. And
Right,
even still, I think they're gonna be one of the teams that cause OU some fits. But for them to
mm-hmm.
lose in that manner just goes to show Texas is probably just ahead of everybody, a little more than everybody believes.
Oh yeah, for sure. They definitely taking a major step forward.
Because I watch
I
yours and he
don't.
be balling.
Oh yeah, he's nice. I mean,
And
they
I
would have
was
beat
not a fan of
Alabama
him.
last year.
Yeah, I
No.
wasn't a fan, but he is nice.
Oh yeah, like I said, if Alabama didn't hurt him last year, we were probably gonna lose that game. Like there's no doubt in my mind. Like if he didn't go down with that injury, we probably lose that game. It was already on track. Uh, I don't know. I liked him coming out of high school. I don't know what happened. Obviously, with him going to Ohio State and what that situation was, but
Hmm.
I think Texas has benefited him. Again, I thought he was gonna end up having to move because I wasn't sure how big on little Manning they were. I
Yeah.
figured it's the Manning name. He's coming there. He starts first year. It's going to be what it is. But it was good seeing him get another chance, and him and Xavier Worthy, who's also a first round talent in my opinion. That receiver
You
that
think
they
he's the
got.
best wide receiver in college football?
No,
Okay, I was
nope.
asking. I was told
That's
that.
Martin.
I was told that by a few people. They
Yeah,
said Texas might have the best tight end and best wide receiver in college football.
Ohio State has the best wide receiver in football,
I
in
was just,
college
which
football.
is Marvin
Marvin
Harrison's son, right?
Marvin Harris Jr. That man is a
Yeah.
dog, like his daddy. So then we go over to OU versus Iowa State. Dylan Gabriel had attempted 39 passes, completed 26 for a total of 366 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Dylan Gabriel also, weirdly, had 8 carries for 37 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't lie, it was a pleasure to see OU win this game because there's certain teams when OU plays them, they always give them fits. And to
That's
me,
how it
I feel
looked in the
like that.
first half.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I thought it was going to be another close game that it could go either way. But to see them pull away and execute, is something that I haven't seen OU do in a long time. Everybody knows if you lived in the state of Oklahoma, fan or not, OU always loses one random weird game that they're not
Fact.
supposed to, and it either screws them out of making the playoffs, or they lose this game so early or so late that there's no recovering because it was just a weird loss that they shouldn't have had. you know Again, no disrespect because my Gma's a Cowboys fan, but it often resembles Dallas, like what the
No
Cardinals
doubt.
lost last week. Like, you
No
should
doubt.
win that game,
Absolutely. For sure.
and that's just how I feel. So it was nice being able to see them go in there, execute, and do what they're supposed to. uh, but for a 5-0 start, I mean, I don't have no bad things to say. I'm for the first time, honestly, Big Tone, in probably sheesh, 13 years. I'm excited for a Red River game.
Oh yeah,
I'm genuinely excited for a Red River game.
for sure.
Now, how
I
about
think
you?
it'll be
How
really
about you?
good. They say it's the first time that they've both been ranked. or something like, or no, both been undefeated since
Hmm.
like long time. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like something crazy. But
Yeah.
it's exciting because both are coming into playing. I think that both programs changed drastically over the last year. To see them go against each other is going to be good.
Right.
Because
No.
watching OU against Iowa State, you're right. That first half, bro, I'm watching it with some friends, and they're just like, "Uh oh," they're getting mad. First off, rightly so,
Right.
getting frustrated. Oh, we're gonna lose it. This is one of the games we drop. The normal OU way. And so
Hmm.
for them to go into halftime the way they did and come out and shut Iowa State out just goes to show the difference in Norman now. BV must have went in
Oh
there and
yeah.
said what he needed to say to get the guys to lock in because rightly so they didn't score another point the whole half. OU scored. They did what and which when you watch them nowadays, that's why I tell people I get a more of a SEC vibe from OU than Big 12 because it's not a
Yeah.
high scoring, powerful offense, but you're going to have to work to score against them. So,
For sure.
people be like SEC football is boring because the score will be 21-7 or
Hmm.
28-15, but that's only
Hmm.
because defense is the main thing over there. It's never just
For
been
sure.
about, oh, I'm going to go score 45 points.
For
Like if that
sure.
was OU versus Iowa State last year, that goes in the half the way it is. Then the ending score is going to be 48-45. Somebody won by a field goal.
Right.
Well, that's just not the BV way now. You know what I mean? So going into Red
No.
River, it's like, oh, Texas is right now ranked above them. So they're the better
Right.
team. When you watch Texas, in my opinion, they got more athletes on offense. Their quarterback's better. Their running back's better. Okay. Now the situation in that is Texas defense don't look like OU's defense to me. Even though they did the thing as Bama or whatever. You said Bama's the trash can this year, but I just look at it as like it's gonna be super exciting because the score might be, let's say, 28-24. You know what I mean? That type of game. But I'm gonna take OU by 3 points just because I want to see what it is.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm excited. I think OU has a real shot at winning it this year. I don't know why. Like you said, it may be defense. It may be
Yeah.
defense for me because I'm not 100% on Brett Venables' offensive scheming or game plan, but their defense looks like what people kind of expected it to be in year one. But
Mm-hmm.
people don't understand, especially a lot of people don't have that Dion effect where you can just get rid of everybody and then get
Right.
a lot of people that you want or people because they're like, oh yeah, you're Brett Venables. I want to play for that man. Like, no. I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
coach. But it's just like you got dudes, you got Deion Sanders, a Hall of Famer, bringing other Hall of Famers to practice and
Right.
teaching y'all stuff. Like it's just gonna be levels to it. So I think kind of like I said with Dion next year, Brett Venables had an opportunity to solidify that defense for another year and drill it into those guys' heads as well as bring in some new people that he wanted that benefited his style of play when it came to the defensive end of the ball.
Yeah.
So,
Will says he's like, this is the example of him getting his recruits in, his guys.
mhm,
Last year, he had
right,
to coach a lot of the old guys that was already there. And he didn't have, like you said, he didn't have the Dion effect where it's like, y'all pack y'all's bags. He had
right,
to go into it like, hold on, I came in late. I got to take these guys and turn them into something that they're not even ready for. Totally opposite
yep,
from what you've coming from. We not offensive based at all. You got to be a dog
right.
on defense. And I think that's why you like them more because you're an SEC guy and defense is the thing. Defense is SEC. That's what they do. All those years you played Bama, like they talk about, they never had the greatest quarterback because they didn't need one, right? You just need a guy that can facilitate, make a good pass here and there. You didn't need a stud because you weren't going to score nothing but 10 points.
Fact. That's
You
a
see what I'm
fact. I
saying?
mean, look at Stetson Bennett, right? He
Right.
goes and wins two
Perfect
national
example.
championships, and he is not the first quarterback off the board by any means.
No, no.
And it's like, why is he not? He won two national championships though. It's because defense is the priority, and as long as
Hmm.
you can, the thing they get on Dak for is that he's a good facilitator and manager of the game. He's not necessarily a Patrick Mahomes, a Joe Burrow, a Justin
Yeah,
Herbert. But when you're playing college football, as long as your defense is dominant, all I need you to do is not turn it over.
for sure.
get us in field goal range. We'll kick field
Yeah.
goals. We might run the ball 37 times on
Yeah.
one drive and get a 1 yard touchdown. That's fine
Exactly.
with us.
Right.
But yeah, like you said, I think that might be it. Bro, I am excited.
Yeah. I'm locked in for
Like,
that for sure.
oh, for sure. I don't know what Mike Gundy done, but he got me about damn near ready to throw all my black and blue shit in the
Somebody asked me
trash.
who OSU playing? What time? I told them
I
I
don't
have
know.
no idea.
None.
Zero. Don't care.
Didn't check.
Nope. Don't even know if they won or lost, if I'm being honest with you. They could have been on
I'm right
bye
there
week
with
for
you.
all I know. They could have been on bye
Fact.
week. I had no idea.
Nope. None, bro. Like I'm
Yeah.
done until I think, especially with NIL, I think Gundy got lucky with Des Bryant, Justin Blackman, Tyreek Hill, Chuba Hubbard. Like, you got lucky a few times, but now with NIL, you ass out.
I
Ass
think that's
out.
where it's struggling. I had heard that they got the smallest recruiting budget in college football.
I believe it.
I was talking to a buddy about it, and I was like, "Dang, that's definitely gonna hurt you." You know what I mean? If you got the smallest recruiting budget and you don't have any NIL or not a whole
Hmm.
lot, how you supposed to get the guys? And I hate
They
that they got to
finna,
be bought, but that's the reality of our world
yeah,
right now.
for sure.
Y'all better
They
sell
finna have
some
to do
land or something.
something.
Y'all better go sell some cattle, do something.
Do something, or y'all
You know what
gonna
I'm
have to
saying?
be the national champions of Division 2 or 3.
Facts.
Cause that ain't working no more, man.
I was
But
talking to you earlier, but there's a
hmm
question I got asked this weekend, and then
go
multiple
ahead.
people asked me. They said, "Tony, do you believe there's 5 quarterbacks in college football better than Shadur Sanders?" My automatic
Mm,
answer was no. Okay.
mm-hmm,
So I felt like it was a reasonable question. Well, let me ask some guys. Let me go ahead
mm-hmm,
and ask some guys.
for
So
sure.
I asked our boy Will, who's one of our co-hosts on here. His
Mm-hmm,
response really took me by surprise. For real. Like
mm-hmm,
took me by surprise because I had talked to 5 or 6 men, we was watching it together about it.
mm-hmm.
And they said the names, Washington's quarterback, obviously Caleb Williams, maybe the North Carolina, is it North Carolina, Kentucky, one of those quarterbacks.
North Carolina, Drake May.
Yeah. And then some of them even said, um, who else he said? He said the quarterback. Will said the quarterback from Michigan. He
Mm-hmm,
said Dylan Gabriel, which I was like, that's a touchy one.
mm-hmm.
Let me see. Let me get it real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like,
Okay.
what? Dylan Gabriel is crazy. So then I said, do you mind me asking why you say DG? Right? And he kind
Mm-hmm,
of told me. So he said Caleb Williams, of course, Dylan Gabriel, Jaden Daniels from LSU,
mm-hmm,
Michael Penix, and then JJ
mm-hmm.
McCarthy from Michigan.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm like, I haven't really watched Michigan's quarterback, but I believe it's the guy from last year.
Mm-hmm. I,
So
I don't know. I don't
is
know.
that true?
I don't know.
Might not be.
I'm trying to see if it's one of them. It was them or TCU. One of their quarterbacks. It was gone, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. So I was like, okay, the 4 of them, okay, cool. I haven't really watched 2 of them, so I'm not gonna
Mm-hmm.
like LSU, and Michigan. I haven't really watched those guys. But
Yeah,
DG
not too much.
really threw me off.
Me
Now
too.
this was his reasoning. He said DG has had a few passes that I assume he wishes he could have back, but overall he's killing it this year. He's top 5 in QBR behind those guys I mentioned, and he leads the Big 12 in passing TDs, passing yards, completion percentage, and total QBR.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all I asked was, cool. I'm going off perspective of me watching.
Right.
When I watch the game of football,
Right.
I would never in my life, if I was a recruiter,
Yeah.
say I'm gonna take DG over Shadur.
Ever.
Now, the Washington quarterback, I actually got to watch him this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my man is real. Like
Penix is
let's be
nice.
real with you. So Caleb Williams and
Penix is
him, I'll
nice.
give him the gun. I'll give them 2 yes, the goes.
Mm-hmm.
I like Ewers a little bit. Because the things I've seen from him this year, but when I watch Shadur play, I would say he's a top 3 right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think there's 5 quarterbacks better than Shadur Sanders in college football?
Obviously, I'd probably go Caleb for, like, if I had to put five over. I think system matters. I think the defense matters again. Uh, so I would put USC because Caleb is just a freak of nature. I put North Carolina's Drake May ahead. I put Michael Penix ahead. And maybe if I just had to put five people in front of him, I'd probably put Quinn Ewers in there. But I would have Shador at four at the lowest. Me personally, I'd probably put him at two or three. But I don't believe Dylan Gabriel again. We saw what he was last year with a bad defense and what he'd have
Mm-hmm.
to try to accomplish. Uh, it's kind of like when they say Dak Prescott throwing over 40 times a game, they lose 75% of the time or some crazy stat like that. Like as long as the defense, you keep me in it close and I don't have to just try to make 30 and 40-yard plays happen on this drive two or three times, I'm good. I
Right.
can do that. And that's how I see Dylan Gabriel. I mean, you're in a situation where your defense is keeping you afloat, keeping you steady, where you don't have to go out there and try to play Superman because that's not who you are. You're Clark Kent. You know what I'm saying? You're a good
Mm-hmm.
dude, but you're not that man. So I wouldn't put him in there. I think it's system. Okay, let me put it like this: would you say that there are five quarterbacks better than Tua Tagovailoa in the NFL right now?
No, not five. Not five.
Okay,
Right now,
okay,
not five.
okay. So there were some
Honestly,
in my.
shoot, if you watch him, if you, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I've watched it. You know what I mean? Last game he
Mm-hmm.
struggled, obviously, but
Mm-hmm.
no, not five.
Okay.
I
So
just
most
can't right
people
now.
would say Patrick Mahomes. Most
Right.
people would say Josh Allen. They
Hmm.
say Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, and maybe Lamar Jackson.
So this year, like that's what we're
Right.
talking about. This year, Joe
Right.
Burrow got to be out the question.
Right.
Joe Burrow got to be out the question. Lamar
Mm-hmm.
Jackson has had some good, bad,
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
For sure.
Josh Allen, he started slow. They figured it out, so he's good.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Josh Allen's who he is. Herbert,
Mm-hmm.
he's who. Him and Tua to me, a flip of a coin. That's
Okay.
just how I see them two
I
flip of a
respect
coin.
that.
But five guys right now, no. I just Tua's playing well, throwing it well. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Controlling the games well. Last game,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, he made some mistakes, but outside of that, nah. Tua, there's not five guys better than Tua right now, in my opinion.
Okay. And I respect that. So now as a coach, right? Because I'm sure you may or may not have had this thing, right? Sometimes your coach is able to put you in situations to be successful because he's not asking you to do something that you can't do or
Yeah,
something
out of
that you
character.
right. Like if you're
Yeah,
not a 3-point shooter, I can't make you a 3-point shooter and build this offense around 3-point shooting if I don't have it. Two is
right.
not the Patrick Mahomes throw 60 yards. He hits slant routes, and in my opinion, Mike McDaniels gets him, puts him in certain positions for guys to get open. And so he looks incredible. Don't get me wrong, but I think Dylan Gabriel, like Tua, are just in situations to be successful because of their coordinator. Given Mike McDaniels is a offensive coordinator that is really good at what he does, but I think Brent Venables' defense isn't requiring Dylan Gabriel to go out there and be spectacular.
No,
So that's just
because
my
if you watch
opinion.
his
I know it
game, we
was
talked
drawn out.
about it. He got to make a lot of check downs. He's throwing little
Mm-hmm.
slant routes. He's really playing him safe. So, but
Mm-hmm.
I put it in a scenario like this. Okay, you take Dylan Gabriel, you put him at Colorado. It's just not the same, right? So you
Right.
put Shadur at OU. OU might score. Obviously, the game plan is going to be different because he can run, things of that nature. But
Right.
you put Shadur in some of those other guys' situation, I think he flourishes. Like you give him off his line that can block, it could really get ugly, in my opinion, for some people. Dylan Gabriel, if you give him not a line, you look at it like last year,
Mm-hmm.
everybody's upset with him. This year, he
Mm-hmm.
got a line that could block a little. His defense doesn't let nobody score, so he doesn't have any stresses on him. Shadur's played against
Mm-hmm.
two of the best teams in college football. Dylan Gabriel
Right.
hasn't. And from a number standpoint, from a stat standpoint, it's not too far off except QBR and things like that. But Shadur is thriving in his situation.
Absolutely.
And so you're
I'm.
telling me a guy that's that talented got to play against the smallest offensive line in college football and
Mm-hmm.
make the plays he's making. His completions are great. It's a lot of times his drops or his incompletions are drops. That guys just drop. And
Yes.
DG's making not underthrowing people, overthrowing people. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not saying
Yeah.
Shadur doesn't, but we don't watch and see too many bad throws like that.
No.
So that's
No,
just
he'll
where
take
I
a
was at
sack.
with it. Yeah, no
No,
doubt. He'll
for sure.
run. You see what I'm saying? But
Hmm.
that's just where that was a question I thought was interesting this weekend because I feel like people are not necessarily hating on him, but they just don't believe the hype. And I'm like, you must not be
Hmm.
watching the games. Forget everything
Right.
else. Forget the commercials, the dad, all the things. Look him as a quarterback and watch him do his thing.
Oh yeah, no, I agree 100%. I mean, people got to take it for what it is and understand. Again, this is his first year in a major Division 1 school where you're getting those looks. You're bringing in people all in their first year. It's 75% transfer students. Like, imagine, right, if it was a different situation where, sorry about that.
No,
Imagine
you
if it
good.
was a situation where Shaduer went to um, in Alabama and they just said, hey, we're going to give you an opportunity. You come over here, your dad, we'll make your dad defensive coordinator. We'll give you the offensive line that Alabama can provide. You just come play quarterback. He would be in a conversation, in my opinion, with the likes of a Caleb Williams for battling for the #1 overall pick.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's that is something that is a place that is solidified. You know, it's kind of
Yeah.
again, you being a coach, you going somewhere in a first year program and you expecting us to go win state in the first
Mm-hmm.
year. Obviously, we'd love to, but the actuality of that happening and the probabilities of that happening are extremely low. But if I
For
went
sure.
somewhere that's solidified, you go like, okay, boom, I'm gonna go to Jinx and Union and I'm gonna go be a head coach or defensive coordinator, bring my son. Like you gonna win state. But if
Yeah.
I'm going to somewhere out in the boonies, nowhere, or dang, hey, we're gonna go just randomly go to more high school and coach and try to win state. Like it's just levels, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
they'll get there. They'll get there, man. So as we switch over to the NFL side of things, was that it for the college with Michael
Yeah. Yeah.
Penix?
Yeah.
I really like Michael Penix. Really
Yeah.
like
Michael
Michael
Penix is
Penix.
tough.
Whew. So well, actually, I kind of want to start with your boys. Obviously, I love talking about my guys' teams. You know, we used to do that when we had, Aaron. And it's funny because you are a Cowboy fan, Will likes Denver, and Aaron likes both. So that was always
Yeah.
fun to me. So I got to ask, coming off that loss with Denver, I mean, with Arizona, and then going into New England, what were your expectations and kind of how did you feel that game was going to play out going into it?
Sometimes I feel like I'm a bad Cowboys fan because when things get bad, I just assume the worst. That's just how, and I don't know why that's that way, bro. I don't know how it's became that, but being a Dallas Cowboy fan it's so hard, man. So like in that situation, we lost, but this is the first time. I hate to say give excuses, but the reality of what we put out there was the situation that was tough.
Right.
Backups, injuries, all the things. You know what I mean? So it was like, okay, we're going against the Patriots. Only reason I didn't like it is because Zeke was going to be running the ball, and I thought he was just going to be on a tear. Like they was just going to try to run it down our throats and do what you can, get as many, But in Dan Quinn fashion, he got his guys locked in, and they really just abused that game. It's almost to the point where it was like almost like we're gonna score, we're gonna get stops. Don't even try because I'm not a fan of what's the quarterback's name at New England? The boy that was
Mac
at your
Jones?
school. Yeah, yeah,
Mac
your boy,
Jones?
man. So I'm not a fan of him. One of the barbers at the barbershop I go to, he's a Patriots fan. He owed me $100, by the way. And we go from there. But
Right.
going into it, I was not optimistic. I really wasn't. They
That's
go
understandable.
down, kick a field goal. I'm like, all right, Dallas, here we go. And our defense played immaculate. Put Dak in a lot of DG situations where it's just like, okay, we put you at the 15-yard line, just go score, bro.
Right.
We put you at the 40, just score, bro. You don't have to do too much. Just scramble. Okay, get a scramble TD, cool. Don't want a CD, cool. Keep it simple and easy. Don't put no stresses on Dak. That's when he thrives. But obviously, last week you've seen when you put the pressure on. I hate to. I don't want to use this word. I'm not going to use it. He just freezes up. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
That's just what it
His ass
is.
get tight.
But I was
Yeah,
not
for sure.
optimistic going into it as a Dallas Cowboy fan. I was not optimistic. That's me being completely honest.
No, and as always, we can appreciate the honesty. So, going back again, that Dallas defense is real. So, Mac Jones attempted 21 passes, completed 12 for 150 yards, and no touchdowns, two interceptions. Again, it was 3-38. So obviously it was a
Hmm.
field goal that took place, but that was about
Yeah.
it for them. Dak Prescott threw 34 times, completed 28 passes, had one touchdown, and that was it. Who was it? Hunter Lupek? I don't know if that's how you pronounce the name, but he had two carries for 4 yards and a touchdown. The rest of those touchdowns, well, obviously the one pass that Dak threw was to CD Lamb. He had four receptions for 36 yards and the touchdown. But the rest of the points were all the defense, all
Yeah.
defense. And I know that's got to piss Bill Belichick off. Something crazy to
They
be
suck,
known as
bro.
the defense. They do. They're bad.
They suck.
They're bad. Like
He's fighting. He's fighting a battle they shouldn't be fighting, bro. Just hang it up, bro.
absolutely.
You're not finding the Tom Brady again. What you did was unique, bro. Hang it up. It's over with.
Yeah. Like there's no. Like there's yeah. He's one of those coaches that refuses to accept the 3 point line as a part of the NBA now. That's how I feel.
Yeah,
Like he's
for
just
sure.
like I'm not drafting wide receivers. I'm not doing it. I'm damn sure not doing it in the first round,
Hmm.
and we're not going to spend money on offense. All my money goes to the defense. But guess what? Your defense can be good, but somebody's defense is now better, and you lost because I mean, had Dallas defense not scored any points or the special teams, whatever, they would have had a total of 14 points. It would have been 14-3. So
Yeah.
28 points came out of somewhere else, or 24 points came out of somewhere else.
Right.
So it's like, come on now, come on. I don't know what is Dan Quinn all of a sudden better than Bill Belichick? Because last time I can remember when Julio Jones played for the Falcons and they was up 28 to whatever on the New England Patriots, we lost that
Hmm.
game. But now what? Bill Belichick don't even know how to coach defense. I will give him Christian Gonzalez, that rookie corner that they drafted, is got hurt, and Matthew Judon is also hurt. Those are your two main guys on defense. So now you
Yeah.
just playing. You might as well lose on purpose to try to get a new quarterback.
Yeah. And Caleb Williams said he ain't going nowhere but Dallas Raiders and some other teams. So you might as well let that one go.
And that's what's crazy. The instability of quarterback or instability and the Raiders organization. And then Dallas, I know Dak don't like none of that. Dak's like, hey, bro, you need to chill out. Don't even mention over
Right. We
here.
got Trey Lance. You know what I mean? It's already crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I got somebody that I'm not tripping on if I get hurt or something. I know I'm going to get my job back, but you need to chill.
Yeah.
But it's good, of course. It's nice to see Dallas bounce back because I'm really looking forward to, the
We
three
got
headed
San Fran this
monster.
week, bro. We
Yes.
got San Fran, bro.
Yes.
Everybody's like, "How you feel about that?" I said, "Listen, whenever the game comes on, I'm gonna turn it on. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah,
I'm
for
not
sure.
predicting
That's how you
nothing.
do.
I just got to because listen, bro. This may be strange to people, but Dallas can mess up my whole day. They
No,
can mess up
I'm
my
there.
whole day.
I'm there.
My wife can be the sweetest, nicest cook, all that. But
Hmm.
if they lose, it could just ruin my day, bro. Ruin
Oh,
it.
100%.
And
I
I don't
mean,
know why it's
imagine,
that way.
I don't know. I've been a Thunder fan and I was here for all those Russ, Kevin Durant, James Harden years and the Russ KD and then just the Russ. So I understand. It'll mess your
Yeah.
whole day up. I mean, yeah, I don't get it, bro. So moving on, we'll probably cover that one towards the end of the day. But we want to
You
have
said
a,
the
you want
Broncos?
the, yeah. So let me ask you this: you want the battle of the trash cans or the battle of the big boys? Which one you want first?
Battle of the trash cans for sure.
Battle of the trash cans. All right, guys, we are going to one of our co-hosts' favorite teams. Shout out to Aaron and Will, the Denver Broncos versus the Bears. The battle of the
Yeah.
trash cans. All
Battle of the
bad.
pillow fights.
No, it's a fact. Like both of
And
them look
Denver
like
was just
all world
happy to
quarterbacks.
win. That's
He
so
did,
sad, bro. That's where Denver's at as a program.
bro. After just after having the Von Miller years and the Peyton Mannings, and now you just beat the Bears, who 1-3. We're going back to we're on our way back, baby.
Right.
I don't know. It's so weird seeing. how just the whole I don't even know how I would explain it, but the way that they champion Sean Payton and what he did with Drew Brees, and then you get a Russell Wilson, and it's like, was that Saints team just that good, or were you that good of a coach? I need to know the difference
It
because I
has
should
to
be
be
able to see it by
bro.
now.
Bro, it has to be the Saints team. Only because he was handed a good team in Denver too.
Man, man, I don't understand. So as we get to the trash can stats, man, Russell Wilson had 28 attempts, completed 21, had 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. Jaleel McLaughlin had 3 carries for 32 yards and a touchdown, or he caught, my bad. Cortland Sutton had 3 receptions, 27 yards and a touchdown. And then Brandon Johnson had 1 reception, 4 yards and a touchdown. Let's go to the other side of the team. The Bears. Justin Fields had 35 attempts, completed 28, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. There were no rushing touchdowns. Cole Kmet, the tight end, had 7 receptions for 85 yards. DJ Moore finally showed up. Shout out to my brother.
Yeah, he had
He
a big
decided
day
to
in
put him.
fantasy, huh?
My brother put that man right on the bench. So
Okay.
he had 8 receptions, 131 yards, 1 touchdown, and then Khalil Herbert
I
had
love Dante,
four.
but he ain't always been the most intelligent. You know what I mean?
This man is a fool. 4 receptions, 19 yards, and a touchdown. Man, I don't know. I don't even know if this is anything either one of you can celebrate. Like, I'm a Jerry Judy fan, and like, I love all my Bama guys, but it's like we cannot be popping our shit after beating Chicago.
No,
Like,
not
it's
popping it, but winning.
Chicago
But you won, thank goodness, right? Thank
for
goodness you
sure,
won.
right? You just happy, right? But go beat
You gotta
somebody
enjoy it.
like
It might be the only one of the year.
It's a fact. That's a fact. But I'm telling you right now, if I was a coach and I see any of y'all at the club that night, y'all be Bears. Like, y'all
Call
cheering like
practice.
y'all won the Super Bowl. Yeah, we got
Facts.
practice in the morning. I'm just telling you. But yeah, man, I don't really
Yeah.
know. I think it's crazy to me how much people are shitting on Justin Fields because I think anywhere else,
I was
okay,
gonna ask
and
you
it's
that.
right. So follow me here real quick. Justin Fields, you make a trade, right? You get rid of him because you want to lose so you can get um a higher draft spot.
Right.
Obviously you have the potential to get not only Caleb Williams but Marvin Harrison Jr. Trade him. My thing is, this is my brain right working weird. You trade Justin Fields to the Jets. The Jets the Jets will give you Zach Wilson and that draft pick that they got from Green Bay or whatever it was. Because remember, if they won over X amount of games, they get a draft pick, or it would go to Green Bay. But if they
Mm-hmm.
lost, then they would keep it. So you give them Zach Wilson, that draft pick. You give them Justin Fields. In my opinion, the Jets go to the playoffs if they get Justin Fields because he knows that their line is trash. You have all the weapons in the world, and you have one of the best defenses. I swear to you, bro. I promise you. If the Jets made a trade for Justin Fields for not much, let him learn under the tutelage of Aaron Rodgers for a year, 2 years, however long he's got left, and let him take over, and then over time build the line through the draft. The Jets are a playoff team. That's my
Yeah,
opinion.
I agree. I agree. People been hating on Fields. I'm like, I feel like he's playing well for the circumstances he's put in. If he's anywhere
Absolutely.
else, I don't feel like anybody's hating on him. But it's time to put Trubisky back in. Like, what?
No,
Chill
no,
out, bro. Let him do him.
for sure. Because I mean,
I
all the
take him in
places
Dallas.
that
Shoot.
right. I mean, you get mobile. He's got an arm, but
Yeah.
when you have that offensive line, like exactly like you said, give him Dallas's offensive line. Give him the Cleveland Browns offensive line. It looks different.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's like, it feels like he's holding it for 4 seconds or he's holding it for 5 seconds. Well, bro, I'm trying to find somebody as long like my offensive line is giving me no time. It's kind of like the Shador thing again. People bag on him because it's like, oh, he's getting sacked or oh, he's doing X, Y, and Z. I need time.
All right.
All the best quarterbacks work with time. Not everybody can be Joe Burrow and be the most sacked quarterback in the NFL and end up in the Super Bowl. But
You're
that's just
absolutely
my
right.
opinion. That's just
Yep.
my opinion. Not everybody can do that, but I don't know. I'm hoping that he gets traded and he gets a fair shot because I think we saw what he was kind of capable of last year, Justin Fields, and one of the most dynamic runners of the ball at quarterback. So I just think an opportunity like a shoot, I don't even know who would take him at this point, but oh, the Raiders.
Yep.
I don't know what the Cardinals are going to do with Kyler Murray because they were talking about trading Kyler and drafting
Seattle.
Caleb. Seattle with Geno as he's getting a little bit older.
Yeah, he getting injured
There's a
here and
lot of
there.
opportunities. Yeah, like there's
Yep. The
opportunities.
Giants. Jesus
The
Lord.
Giants, the Falcons. The Falcons have Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, and Drake London.
Yeah.
Boom, a studded
Their
young
quarterback
team.
is a bum, ain't he?
Yeah, Desmond Ritter came in. Was
That's
he was
crazy.
in? Yeah, he was on the same team as Sauce Gardner when they went to the college football playoffs and got the doors blown off.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't know, man. So that's it on the Broncos and the Bears. Next, we will go to the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. And yeah,
Shout
man,
out
this is my
Stephon
team.
Diggs, bro. Hold it down
Shout
for
out
my. Wait,
Stephon.
what'd you say? What'd you say?
I said
It's
that's
your
my
team.
team. Yeah,
This year's your team.
roll tide, baby.
Okay, all
Tua,
right.
Jalen Waddle. I
Oh,
mean, hey,
Miami,
roll
Miami.
tide.
I was talking about
Yeah,
Stephon
Miami.
Diggs and the
No, no,
Bills.
no, 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 Miami. And then Tyreek before he got in trouble, he was at Oklahoma State. So we all right there.
That's
We all
fair.
packaged up in Miami.
Y'all
So,
got drugged though. That's kind of crazy.
boy, after winning by what 50,
Man,
you lose by 30. But it is
that
what
was
it
a
is,
shell shock.
man. Yeah, I was not predicting as
But the
dynamic
thing
as
was,
that
I felt
offense
like
has been.
Buffalo was due for one. I feel
For
like they
sure.
hadn't played great all season.
For sure.
You know what I mean? I feel like they just couldn't figure it out. Josh Allen didn't seem like who he was. Things of that nature. And then Stephon just balls out. And I'm
Mm,
like, okay, this is the Buffalo team everybody was expecting going into the year.
absolutely.
And it's just
Absolutely.
sad
Yeah.
Miami had to get the wrath.
Oh, for sure. Because
Because
people
Miami's already riding on their high horse. You're like, Jesus.
yeah, everybody's like, this might be, this most dynamic offense in NFL history, blah, 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 blah,
Facts.
blah. And it's like, yeah, that's cool. But let's come back down to earth. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
y'all keep putting that bad juju. Tua, that's my boy. But we need to
He
just
is
pray
going to
he
be
gets
who he
through a
is.
season healthy. Yeah, we just need to
Yep.
get through a season healthy, and we're gonna call that a success. So
Mm-hmm.
with that game, the stats for Tua had 35 attempts, completed 25 passes, one touchdown, one interception. Devon A Chain, don't know where this man came from. Rookie, he had 8 carries for 101 yards and two touchdowns.
Wow.
And if you know about fantasy, him and Mostert had about 50 points. Two running backs from the same team had 50 points.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Crazy. And then Braxton Berrios was the only wide receiver on the Miami Dolphins to catch a touchdown, and the most receiving yards by any Miami Dolphins receiver was Tyreek Hill with the 58.
Wow.
Crazy,
Crazy.
crazy. The Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen doing big things, and not with only 25 pass attempts. He had 25 pass attempts, completed 21 for 320 yards, four touchdowns, and no picks.
Mm.
Uh, James Cook, Dalvin Cook's brother. Funny side note: Dalvin Cook's name, I guess, is Dalvin James Cook, and his brother's name is James Dalvin Cook.
Mm.
Crazy. I don't know why.
Didn't
Weird.
know that.
Yeah, I just seen that the other day. I was like, that's interesting. But James Cook had 12 carries for 29 yards, a rushing touchdown. Josh Allen had four rushes for 17 yards and a touchdown as well. Again, Tony, you got Stephon Diggs?
Yes, sir.
Oh wow! So that
So
man
get
had
this. So I
six.
had
Go
Stephon,
ahead.
and the guy I was playing against had Jared Allen.
Oh wow!
And
Oh
then I
wow!
think, I think it might have been him or Mostert, one or the other. I don't remember.
Hmm.
But I still pulled away. You know how, my fantasy team, we've been up and down all season.
Hey, I ain't mad at you, bro. Again, I just lost in my other league. I was undefeated because I put San Francisco's team against Josh Dobbs, a mobile quarterback, when I could have had 26 points from Dallas' defense. But Stephon Diggs had six receptions, 120 yards, and three touchdowns. Gabe Davis had 3 receptions for 61 yards and a touchdown. The Buffalo Bills win 48-20. So, do you think this is the year Buffalo can officially
Get it
make that
done?
next step? Huh?
You think this is the year they can get it done?
I think that's what I'm asking, right? Because they lose to the
Yeah.
Jets, and what was it? The season opener or
Mm-hmm.
their season opener, and then obviously you lose with 4 plays of Aaron Rodgers and the rest of it Zach Wilson, but then you go and beat the most high-powered offense in the NFL. So I don't know if either. I don't know. It's weird because obviously Miami's defense is that people have been able to score, but when it comes to the Jets, they have no offense, but their defense is like that. So it's like they can beat teams with high powered offense. I guess their defense is good enough, but when it comes to a team that can match their offense with their defense, it gets a little tough. Because I mean, let's be honest, we haven't seen the game we're talking about next is probably the best we'll ever see of Zach Wilson. So
Who? Which is?
the Chiefs versus the Jets, like you lost to a Zach Wilson that wasn't playing good, the Buffalo Bills, but
Yeah.
then you beat a Tua team that has the highest powered offense.
Oh yeah.
So it's like I was saying, it's different whenever you could probably go offense for offense and win that game probably. But when it comes to somebody whose defense can match your offense, I don't know if they can get the job done per se. Like when if you were to run into a Dallas, a San Francisco, Philadelphia, like can you withstand those high powered defenses to go along with it?
Yeah. I think
So
Buffalo, like I told you, was they just was figuring it out. They was kind of struggling at the beginning. Expectations were high. Things of that nature. But at the end of the day, you got to get out there and play. So you don't really know what it looks like until you play against somebody else. And for them to get hit in the mouth the way they did, it's like, oh, okay, we might not be as good as we think we are. Let's get to the drawing board. And it just took some time. And for them to beat Miami in the fashion that they did kind of shows, oh no, they got it. It just took some time to figure it out. Because I think now they know these are our strengths, right? This works against these high powered offenses. Now they got to come up with something that is ready for those high powered defenses. But I think they
oh
have all
yeah,
the pieces to get whatever they need to get done. I think
for
they're
sure.
definitely a front runner, but I would say San Fran is just the head honcho.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I have a quick little because before we go into the last topic of the Chiefs and the Jets, I just got to say the Rams, right? The Rams. I don't know
Mm.
how they're doing it. They have a young defense and a really young receiving core, but they drafted Puka Nakua, and then you drafted Kyron Williams, been putting up numbers. You traded Cam Akers because you believed in him so much. And then you get Cooper Cup back at practice this week.
Oh wow.
And yeah, so it's just like you have the opportunity. Obviously, they beat a young Colts team. They drafted a rookie, Anthony Richardson, but you're two
He
and
played
two.
well.
Yeah, he played well that game for sure. But again, the Kyron Williams kid, he had 2 rushing touchdowns. Puka Nakua finished the game off in overtime with a 22-yard catch. But you're 2 and 2. You get Cooper Cup back. And they said that Puka Nakua, with 501 receiving yards, is on pace to break all the major receiving yard seasons that anyone's ever had of Calvin Johnson and Cooper Cup. And the quarterback for both of those guys was Matt Stafford.
Wow. Yeah, that's true. He'll throw the
So
long
it's
ball, bro. He will throw it.
yeah, for
You got to
sure.
go get it. You
So
know what I mean?
I think
But I, I,
yeah,
I think you get Cooper Cup back. That might make it even worse for everybody. Got to guard. Oh boy, now.
right,
And
right,
so now, if Cooper's back, say he's healthy, you got the
yeah,
triple crown on one side. You got the other, or they on the same side. You know what I mean? Like,
hmm
what do you got for that?
yeah.
And
That's what
so
I'm saying.
you made a good. LA might be making a run back at it. You never know. It might finish off the season on a high note.
I mean, you can. I mean, no one was expecting it. Obviously, you're losing
No,
Von Miller, OBJ, all those guys. You trading people away. Jalen Ramsey, Cam Akers, but they're not in a bad spot, man.
They're not.
Like to be two
They're
and
not.
two at this point without your veteran receiver that was a triple crown winner, and you have a rookie coming in that is leading all receivers and receiving yards at the moment. Like,
And he just
come
scored
on,
his first touchdown in the last game, right?
I think
They
so,
said he wasn't scoring touchdowns. He was just catching a bunch, getting a bunch of yards. So
man.
just think, Cooper Cup gonna score a touchdown, no doubt about it. So now that I would say that's the best deep ball threat that the
Hmm.
LA Rams have had since having
Hmm.
Cooper.
Yep.
I mean OBJ, of course, but OBJ was
Right.
hurt and all that. But even
A little
then,
bit
think about
older.
that. When OBJ was there, he was a triple crown.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
it's like, okay, cool. But
Yeah, it'll be interesting, man,
yeah,
for
it'll
sure.
be
I'm
interesting.
interested to see how they
That
fight
means
back.
I'm putting Matt Stafford back in my starting lineup on fantasy. Let's go.
I wouldn't mind. Hey, do what you gotta
Cause
do,
I got to
man.
cut Joe Burrow, bro. His calf injuries tearing him up.
Boy, that's been
And you
rough.
know who I'm
And
picking
yeah,
up, which we didn't plan on talking about? Baker
what?
Mayfield.
I'm not mad at that.
I'm
The
not
dude I
mad at
lost
that.
to in my league, he didn't start him, but he had 22 on the bench. I
Facts.
picked up the Cardinals quarterback. I ain't gonna lie,
Okay.
Josh Dobbs. I picked him
Yeah.
up. That man's been putting up numbers. I can't get Trevor Lawrence to get over 15.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Joe Burrow 2, 6, 5. I mean,
Yep.
you see when I said in the group first,
Yeah.
so he sucks now. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They Geno Smith yesterday got me 9 points. I was hot.
Got him.
So
Got him.
got to,
Baker Mayfield's out
got
there on
to.
the go crazy. I even pick up Anthony Richardson if I have to.
For real, bro. Like
For
that's
real.
the point we're at. That's the point we're
And
at.
what's crazy is, bro, in fantasy, you usually never go through quarterbacks like that. You know
Right.
what I mean? You usually have
Never
two, you can ride with them. Never.
the whole
And this
season.
year, everybody's like, "What? Cut him? Okay, here the next one. Cut him."
Yep.
And there's some nice ones on the waiver wire. So I'm trying to go get Baker Mayfield,
Yeah. 100%. I'm
which
not
he
mad
was
at it, bro.
balling. Touch on that real quick.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing Baker s things, and he's made his comeback. I'm happy for him. You know what I mean? He's not no. You see what he said in the media about now it's time for OU to beat Texas, that type of thing.
Oh, okay.
Because it's hate
Okay.
Texas week or whatever, that type of thing. But
Yep.
I'm a Baker fan, bro. He got some dog in him. Some people don't like it, but I respect it.
Absolutely. Not mad at it at all. So last but not least, man, we have the Kansas City Chiefs and the New York Jets in the Sunday night football game. Uh, one of the more weird games of the season.
Mhm.
I don't know what's wrong with the Chiefs. I mean, I feel like I do. Obviously, you don't have the threat of Tyreek, and your receivers
No,
aren't as
Taylor
explosive.
Swift. That's the problem.
But they
Taylor
won.
Swift
They
in the
was
building
killing the
causing
game
too much
before.
traction. Too much traction. They trying to focus on her. No, no. Got to get back to TK. That's the one that matters.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
No, I'm
I'm not.
not.
I'm
I
not
just
disagreeing.
my pops was mad every time they brought her up on the screen. Angry,
Oh, for
legit
sure.
frustrated. Change the channel.
The yeah, the Giants were booing her. They had a commercial in the stadium, and they was booing in the stadium.
That's
Like
crazy.
this, that ain't even her game. They're playing the Seahawks, and you over there playing Taylor
Right.
Swift commercials in the stadium.
Yeah.
But
It's a PR thing, and that's fine.
for
But
sure, for
but
sure.
yeah, it was weird to see him struggle with the Jets, and I was like, and we was talking about Kansas City still being dogs or whatever, and I'm just
Hmm.
like, something ain't
It's
right
not
now.
clicking.
Pacheco doing his thing. Once they be able to figure out all of it, you know what I mean? They'll
Yes,
be
sir.
cool. But for some reason, it's just not. You know what I mean? It's just not flowing right now.
Oh yeah, I got Pacheco in both my leagues. He gave me a cool little 24 points. I'm happy. I'm happy. Can't be mad.
Yeah,
Shoot,
yeah.
but
Pacheco
Patrick,
balling. I'm glad I got his name right. Finally, I be messing it up all the time.
hey, it's all right. I be having dudes at work. Pacheco's nice. Like no, it's Pacheco. But
Yeah, he's
Patrick
nice.
Mahomes attempted 30 passes, completed only 18 for 203 yards, one touchdown and two interceptions. Isaiah Pacheco had 20 carries for 115 yards and a touchdown. The only person for the Kansas City Chiefs to catch a receiving touchdown would be Noah Gray with one reception for 34 yards. Leading all receivers in receiving yards would be the tight end and Travis Kelsey with six receptions for 60 yards. That was about it for them. Then we
Yeah,
go to the Jets. Zach Wilson attempted 39 passes, completed 28 for a total of 245 yards and had two touchdowns. Two touchdowns, no interceptions.
right.
Also, weird stat. They said Zach Wilson is the first quarterback to outperform Patrick Mahomes in an NFL game, statistically.
Wow, that's
Never thought I'd
wild.
hear that.
Let's
Right,
keep it a stack. For that to be Patrick Mahomes' case is crazy.
right.
So no one ever in no game has
No,
outplayed
no
him.
one ever. I guess I don't know if it's in a loss or if it's in all games in totality. I would say at the least when it comes to a loss, Patrick Mahomes has always did better than the quarterback. It was just always they scored more points or something happened. They had more rushing touchdowns. But they said
That is
Zach
wild.
Wilson is the only quarterback to outperform Patrick Mahomes in a game. I'm I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know. But again, Brees Hall had 6 carries for 56 yards. They had no rushing touchdowns at all. Alan Lazard had 3 receptions for 61 yards and a touchdown catch. And then CJ Uzama had 1 reception for 1 yard and a touchdown.
Mm.
But I don't know, man. I think that game was good. Like I
It
never
was good.
thought, yeah, like after seeing Aaron Rodgers go down, you don't think that that game's going to be too interesting. You don't think that you're going to be
Yeah.
excited for it to say. But then, Zach Wilson is throwing back shoulder passes like he is A
Yeah,
Rod's
he was
kid.
throwing facts. They
Man,
kept talking
just
about
hitting
like
them.
A Rod
Boom,
must be talking
boom,
to him at
boom.
practice
Yeah,
because he was
yeah.
making
And
some
then,
money throws, and I'm like, oh, why can't Dak do that? That's crazy.
bruh, bruh, like for
Yeah,
real.
that's how I
But,
was feeling, bro.
he did what he had to. And it was just that last, it's kind of like when you're in basketball. And I know I use examples from other sports all the times or from different things, but the coach always said you got to catch the ball before you can do anything else with it, before you can put it on the
Mm-hmm.
ground, before you pass it. And
Fact.
he got hiked the ball, started trying to look for a receiver, hit them hands and dropped. And that was all she wrote.
Mm-hmm.
All she wrote.
Facts.
You let the moment get too big for you. And kids, I don't know if any of y'all have kids that watching this, but make sure your kids know the details coming from any coach. My coaches, when I coach, Tony here is a coach. The details matter most in the crunch time situations.
Yeah.
Those little things, because your adrenaline's pumping. Zach Wilson knew he was playing that game,
Yeah.
and he wanted to
The
put his
basics.
stamp on. Yeah, the
The
basics. It's
basics.
the
Yeah.
minor details. Whenever he knew he was playing the game of his life, and that would have solidified him as the Jets quarterback. And I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers wouldn't have played coming back next year, but Zach Wilson is more mobile. And with how depleted that offensive line is and them not being able to guard a damn blade of grass, he was playing. And for that split
Facts.
second, they hiked the ball, started looking for a receiver already. Bam! Drops the ball. Game over.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes do, runs, scrambles, slides to get the first down. Funny thing about that is Dante again had Patrick Mahomes. Dante lost by 1 point. Patrick Mahomes would have ran that touchdown in. He wins in
Yeah, like you
fantasy
should
last
have.
week.
Yeah,
Yep.
I had some homies that was tight because the spread, and
Mm-hmm.
they was supposed to just need him to score a touchdown. He just kept
Mm-hmm.
nailing it. It was tight.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
But
Yeah,
I
that's why I
mean,
say,
I will give it.
we love your brothers, bro. But Tays, my
Hey
dog.
man,
Shout
he
out to
won the
homeboy one
fantasy
Tay,
league
but
last year. He won the
hey,
league
this ain't
last year.
last year. This ain't last
That's a
year. This is
fact.
new
That's a
year, and
fact.
he obviously making some bonehead mistakes.
Nah, you ain't lying. So, Tom, what was your experience if you had the opportunity to watch that game Sunday night? I know, obviously, we both work early mornings. I have to get up early on Monday, but
Yeah,
did you get to watch it at all? What was your kind of whole analysis of that game?
yeah. I thought the Jets are getting better slowly but surely. That's just how that is, and I think they made the right decision by keeping Zach and having A Rod in the background because it really helps him grow. And I think that's where a lot of these quarterbacks that end up becoming great, they get behind a good guy they can learn from. Not that you got to watch him and learn from him, but he can just teach you fine tune things that he can teach you in practice so that in a game you can see this and make this throw or make this decision and help him grow. And I think the better he gets, the better the team is because everybody's expecting them to be a playoff team because of A Rod. So if he can just be decent, you know what I mean, and get better every single game. Because for them to be in to good competition, to be right there with Kansas City Chiefs shows a lot. Now that I also worry about the Chiefs because they should blow a team out like that, and I feel like they're struggling a little bit, kind of like Buffalo did early, and I'm not sure why. You know what I'm saying? But I think just because Kansas City being who they are, they're gonna figure it out. But
No,
the
for
game was
sure. And
good,
I
bro. Like both two teams fighting. You know what I mean? Quarterbacks carrying the
Hmm.
load for the most part, but I really enjoyed the game because it showed that, and I like that about the NFL this year is the competitive games are good competitive games,
Oh, for
and then to
sure.
see some mixes up with guys scoring a lot of points, it's really showing the NFL is not so boring like it used to be. You know,
Oh,
people that watch the
100%.
NFL used to be mad like, oh, it's that's why I don't watch it. It's 10-0 in the third quarter, and I'm like, that's fair. You know what I mean? All these
Right.
pros should be able to score, but now that they
Yeah.
are, it's making NFL a little more interesting.
Oh no, of course. I mean, even, I we grew up where motherfuckers was, I mean, excuse my language, but they was
Mm.
giving out CTE left and right.
No doubt.
You
I
know what I'm
seen a
saying?
clip
Like
from
they
when
was
Brian
cracking
Dawkins
shit.
rocked who was that? It was a running back for the Eagles.
Hmm.
Talking about ruined his not running back for the Eagles. I'm tripping. I don't remember what it was. Ray Lewis, Ray Lewis. And hit
Hmm.
somebody so hard helmet popped off to about 40 yards away. I'm thinking that's the football we missed to see. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah, for
Really
sure.
really rock some stuff.
For sure. And I mean, we didn't touch on that game, but I seen yesterday, I don't know if you watched it all, the Giants and Seattle game, that Witherspoon kid, the
Yeah.
running back tried to run through I don't even remember. I think it was B gap maybe, but he hit it and met him. Wham! And you just see them both fly back. I was like, that shit looks like it was illegal. It looked like whatever the NFL is pushing now, that was not it. That is some stuff that get you ejected. But they let it slide. I mean, and he was hitting. I mean, the cornerback
Yeah.
that they drafted, really good, but it's just like I enjoy seeing defense matching the offensive capabilities now. Because before, they said that to tie it all in, they're saying like the Chiefs are the New England of old. They would be really cheap on offense and spend all their money on offense. I mean on defense, and now they feel like they're putting all the money in Pat and Travis Kelsey and trying to just draft young guys to fill the roles, and they'll
Yeah.
do what they have to do because they got the best quarterback in the world. But to see you have the high power defenses like the Cleveland Browns defense has been a fantastic, and those games that they get into obviously with the Pittsburghs and things of that nature, but then you get to see like what was it, Miami and the Chargers, like
Hmm.
35-35, those just marching down the field. I love those games, so yeah, it's been fun, man. But
It's definitely been fun. The
uh
NFL is exciting again.
for
There's
sure.
not no there's the front runner would be San Fran in my opinion, but it's not like
Hmm.
just a this week.
Clear cut.
Obviously, playing Dallas will show okay, is
Hmm.
San Fran really them, right? If they
For
can score
sure.
on us and really do us bad, then yeah, they're the front runner for sure. But outside of that, 2 through 6, 2 through 8
Hmm.
are probably all
Hmm.
pretty interchangeable,
Oh
and
yeah, for sure.
which is good to know
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. Like I said, I think college football is finally back in the way that everybody kind of wanted it to be. It's exciting. It's not just so SEC dominant. Like
for
I
sure.
can't even lie. I enjoy college football more now that everybody's kind of good because it's like
Yeah,
I gotta watch this game. Like I gotta watch that game. Like
yeah,
they saying this might be the greatest quarterback draft of in history. And it's like that's because NIL, as much as people try to hate on it, it's helped because all these kids don't want to just go under the same coach and sit for 3 or 4 years. And
yeah.
it's
They
like,
get to
oh,
go
okay,
play.
now we got right.
Yeah,
So I think that's always, 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 always exciting. Funny thing, really quick before we get out of here, I won't keep anybody any longer than I got to. Dante lost by 1 point, right? Debo Samuels got him point 0.6 points.
I got Debo.
Point 0.6.
Pitiful,
That's crazy.
pitiful.
Crazy.
Hey,
But
listen,
man,
one thing, real
mhm.
quick.
Yeah,
Dame Dollar to the Bucks. Obviously,
yep,
NBA start next week, so guys, be ready because we're gonna talk about it. I got a lot to discuss because that is insanity. You feel
hmm,
me? I feel like Phoenix got better with Nurkic. I've
for
never been an
sure.
Aiton fan, so
I
that's something
agree.
quick and small. And then another
Dominating,
one. This is a personal thing, and I don't know if DJ or his brother want to talk about it, but congratulations to his brother on Jabari on having a boy. They just announced this weekend. That was pretty dope. I like the video and how that whole thing went, and
mm,
that's a beautiful thing. God bless to him and the family. And
for
so now
sure.
it's time to start on the next one to get ready for these sports.
Man, yeah, for sure, man. Next generation's always up, man. We here for a good time, not a long time, and it's always a blessing to see stuff like that
For
happen.
sure.
Wish nothing but best of luck to him and his lady, man. But yeah. Crazy, crazy, man. We getting old
Crazy,
out here.
bro. But y'all be
But
ready, man.
with
It's
that,
getting hot. It's getting hot. The season's getting
oh yeah,
wild. We're gonna
oh
get
yeah,
some of our
and
other co-hosts on here per usual, and it's gonna be fun.
we'll be back, man. Again, always. We had the NFL. We're heating it up. We finished the first quarter. Now we got the NBA starting. Like you said, Dame Dollar to the Bucks, Drew Holiday to the Celtics, Nurkic to the Phoenix
So
Suns, dominating as he calls himself now. DeAndre Ayton to Portland. Yeah, all that good stuff. I can't wait. NBA seasons look like it's going to be a good one. Lakers
heck
made
yeah.
some good offseason picks that I like. You know, it's hey,